Okay. Yeah. Lady Wolf Pack on a whole nother level. Savage as they come, gang of female rebel. Got the sharpest claws, we got the whitest teeth. We coming for your lunch, but we only bring the heat.
Hey y'all, I'm Cassidy, the favorite daughter, obviously.
And I'm Kim, her mom, her match, and the real reason she turned out halfway decent.
Welcome to Mom's Favorite, the podcast where we laugh, vent, and overshare like it's our full-time job.
Yeah. And we're coming straight to you from Austin, Texas, where the queso's hot, the opinions are hotter, and we don't sugarcoat a damn thing.
You know, just think of us as Thelma and Louise, but only they're related and they have a podcast instead of a death wish.
So go ahead and pour yourself something strong, maybe a margarita, get a little snack.
Because here on Mom's Favorite, we got a lot to unpack. Gimme an M.
M!
Gimme an F.
F!
What does that spell?
Motherfucker!
Well, I mean, yeah, but no.
More fries!
I would love more fries, but also no.
Oh, yeah. Mom's favorite!
Yes, and today we're not just talking about a mom. Oh, no. We are going to talk about the mom, the mother of all mothers, the legend herself, Nanny Sharon.
The woman who was equal parts wisdom and sass and would dish out iconic one-liners with a cigarette in one hand and a Diet Coke in the other.
We're diving into her famous nannyisms, sharing some classic Sharon stories, and celebrating the absolute powerhouse that she was.
My mom was a one-of-a-kind and the ultimate matriarch. So take notes, people.
So where should we start? Like a little backstory? There's so much.
There's so much to this story. But I think, I'll probably start from the beginning. And I guess since I'm the only one that has that information,
True.
I guess it will be,
True.
I'll be up first. But I guess just let me start from the beginning with Sharon. So she was born Sharon Lynn Welch. And she was born on October 25th, 1945 in Temple, Texas. And what's funny is she was delivered by Dr. Jack Weinblatt, who also delivered me and most all of the cousins and family members in the family that were delivering.
Of Temple, Texas.
I think there was about 3 generations of babies in our family that were all delivered by Dr. Jack
cute.
Weinblatt. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I heard that name, Dr. Weinblatt.
Yeah, well, there's a little backstory on Dr. Weinblatt, and do remind me, because I don't want to go into it now because I don't want to get off track, but we do need to talk about a little side piece of Dr. Weinblatt. But
all right.
So her dad, Nanny's father, was, his name, get this, Cass, his name was Otto, O-T-T-O, which that's nice. That's
Automobile.
O-T-T-O, Homer
Simpson.
Welch. Otto Homer Welch. I mean, that's just a lot of name. But he was an older dad. So he was much older. My mom was the youngest of 3 sisters. And so he was a cab driver.
I didn't even know that Nanny had 2 other sisters. I only ever knew
one sister. You probably didn't
Joanne.
know Jean.
Yeah.
The oldest one. Yeah.
I mean, maybe I did, but I just
no. You probably
blocked
didn't.
it out.
You probably didn't know her, but yeah. So he was a cab driver, and he was older, and both of her parents were older because she was the youngest. Her 2 older sisters were maybe 6 years. I think there was like 6 years between each of them, and so there was a lot of age difference between them, and it was in a weird time where I I don't know. Let's just say we questioned sometimes whether my mom was actually a product of the two of them, because she really doesn't look like her mom or her dad or either of her two sisters. And so I think through the years, we kind of just assumed that maybe it was maybe it was the
mailman.
the mailman's baby or something. But no, we don't care about that kind of stuff in our family. We don't care where we came from. But so he also had a heart condition. I remember my mom talking about him being sick pretty much her whole life. Her dad was ill with a heart condition. He can't, anytime he exerted himself, he would have episodes. She said she could remember times where he would have to be taken by ambulance. And, so I think it was kind of a rough time. And then her mother was Fenolia Gertrude Rice.
I love it.
I know.
Gertie.
And
Nola.
we called her Nola.
Yeah.
But Nola, I don't know a whole lot about her younger years of life, because really the only information I have about her from younger years was she was a raging alcoholic. And, Nanny grew up coming home from middle school, having to go out into the neighborhood looking for her mother in bars and dragging her home. And so she had a really rough childhood. They were very poor. I know she told me stories about they moved quite a bit, probably moved one place for a month and then couldn't pay the rent next month, and they moved again. And they ate, beans and rice and went hungry a lot. I mean, when I say poor, like they didn't have food, and a lot of times they didn't have a place to live. So that's poor to me. So
Yeah.
She didn't have an easy life. Luckily, she did have two older sisters, and her oldest sister, Jean Evelyn, she had to get out of there quick. So she got married young, like about 16. And she married a man that they wound up having 4 sons. And they had a Texaco gas station and tire business. Very successful and known in the community up in Temple and Heidenhammer and some of those little areas out there. They had a pretty booming business, and they were the York brothers, so everybody knew all about them. And I'm sure they terrorized everybody. But and so Jean and her husband, the oldest one, they were married in like this weird time where women were like just basically servants to their husband. And the fact that she had 4 sons, she had just a lot of man around her. She eventually, as she got older, she said, I'm out of here. She left. And she sort of had this wild in her 50s. I can remember her dousing on that Estee Lauder Youth Dew perfume and getting all dolled up and going down, putting on the blue eyeshadow and going down, and she had to meet her a man. And I mean, I was probably like in my early 20s when that happened. And I was like, this is such a cool lady. She was like reliving her youth that she was never allowed to have, because she went from her home to her, her husband, who was like a father to her, treated her like a kid. But so then there was her sister, Joanne, who was the middle sister, who was actually her closest sister. I would say they were extremely, extremely close. Very tight sisterhood. I know that Joanne was probably like sort of like a mother figure in a way, because she had this little sister that no one was taking care of, obviously. You can imagine an alcoholic mother. And by then her dad was dead. Her father died when she was very young, probably about 12 or 13 years old. And so Nanny grew up without a dad, really, and without a mom, too, for the most part. So she was just a feral kid. But she did have her older sisters that did kind of keep an eye on her. But Joanne, she was a hoot and a holler too. They called her Jody Blonde because she had super kinky curly blonde hair, like white blonde hair. And I don't know why they named her Joanne, and they spelled it Joan, like Joan.
Yeah.
But they called her Joanne. But their dad called her Jody Blonde. And so that's where the name Jody came from. When Terry had
Jody,
her kids, she
right.
named her oldest Jody. So
That's cool. I didn't know that story.
yeah. So, but they were tight. Sharon and Joanne were, they took care of each other. And I can remember them telling stories about going out. Everything was a lot of going out stuff and going out. And Joanne, she was a pistol, and my mom would have to like pull 4 girls off of Joanne because she said something, that some girl didn't like out in a bar or came on to her boyfriend or did something naughty. And so, it was kind of sounds a little bit like me and Carrie a little, kind of that relationship of going out, and they watched out for each other. Like if one of them went out on a date with a man that took them to a nice restaurant, they always brought food home for the other one in a doggy bag, or, it was just because they were poor.
Yeah.
They were super poor. But it seemed like the stories that she would tell me would be like, they still had so much fun. They really had a lot of fun. Yeah. And, they did okay. They worked out okay. But so after that hard childhood, I guess she started working really young. I know it was about 13, I think. She worked, it's like a car hop. I want to say probably at a place like a Sonic where you carry food over to the cars. And she probably did anything she needed to do to make money because she was pretty frail. I don't think Nanny finished. She probably finished the 9th grade. Mm-hmm. That was about the extent of her education. And then she had to go to work, I guess. She had to kind of support herself. But probably about 15 or so, she was working in offices and had learned some office skills. Probably figured that was better than car hop, although you could probably make good tips, waiting any kind of wait job. And then at 16, she got a job at Bell County working for a judge, Judge John T. Cox. And he was a judge in Bell County for many years. And she worked for him. I guess she'd like secretarial stuff or whatever she did. But I mean, imagine like a 16-year-old girl just going in and working in a county office. But somewhere along there, her and her best friend was Joan. Remember Joan? I don't know if you remember her. Joan had the big beehive blonde hair, huge hair, wore a lot of makeup, real, just some ciggy in a hand, and So they were besties, and they decided that they were going to go to beauty school. So they went to beauty school and graduated from beauty school and had
beauty school dropout.
No, they were
not.
Not. They were not.
Well, isn't that like you drop out from high school to go to beauty school? I think that's what they're talking about. Beauty school dropout.
Yeah, they did.
But anyways,
they
continue.
did drop out of high school. They did good. They just skipped on to straight to beauty school.
Yeah.
And so they got their license and then decided, hey, let's open a shop. Let's open a beauty shop, me and you. So they opened up a little shop in a little shopping center, and they opened it all up. And then they did each other's hair, and then they went out.
I love it.
And that was
That was their shop.
That was the end of their beauty shop. So needless to say, I don't think they were okay on the beauty part, but I don't think the business part, they had that part down. So she wound up working and I still remember Margie, this place called Margie's in Temple. And I still remember exactly where it is. I could probably drive there right now. And next door to it was our dentist that we went to. But she worked for Margie for many years. And then in the early years, she did also worked like anything else she could do, like cocktail waitress. She worked at this place. It was a bar called the Ponderosa in Temple, and that's where she met Ken, my stepdad. And
I'm impressed that can remember like all the names of like the dentist, the judge, the places.
I do remember all this stuff, but don't ask me what I had for dinner last night.
Password is.
Don't ask me what I had for dinner last night or what any of my passwords are, because I don't know any of them. I know, it's crazy like that, right? But so she met Ken. She already had 2 kids. I'm not going to go into the whole background of Jeff and mine coming along, because that's a long, boring story. And if you want to know more about my dad,
on another podcast,
you can actually go and reference how I met my dad. Yeah. Who's your daddy? On one of our earlier podcasts, and it will more explain about kind of the story about my mom meeting my dad and things like that. But my stepdad, who is Ken, he was probably 5 or 6 years older than her, but he was, I don't know, she was just a young girl working, trying to just take care of 2 kids. Mm-hmm. But I want to tell you something about her. When she met my dad meaning Ken. Yes. When I say, just for reference, when I reference my dad, for all intents and purposes of life and forward and ever, is
Ken, the man who raised you.
Ken, the man who raised me. And so when she met him, she had 2 kids, a 2 and a 4-year-old. She owned her own car. She had a owned house where she made house payments, but I mean, she didn't own it outright, but she, in other words, she wasn't renting. She owned her home.
A mortgage, yeah.
She owed no one. So she was making it. She was doing it.
Yeah.
But she met him, and she said this man came in and he had this muscle car. He had I want to say like a Dodge Charger, that kind of, but he wasn't like overtly,
cocky or
He
peacocking.
was not. He was not like Jerry Crow, who was my father, who was very on the take and on the, whatever. But I don't know. But he laid eyes on her, and he decided that was the one. And she got to know him. And I'm sure there was an attraction. I mean, we didn't go into all the depths of how you felt at that moment with her, because, we just didn't have that kind of time. But I think she saw someone who had their shit together. He had a really good job. He made good money. He was, he seemed normal. He seemed, I don't know. He seemed like a grown-up,
right?
Maybe.
He had
responsible
a shit together. That's very attractive.
Yeah,
when you're a single.
It's very attractive when you're trying to when the world is kicking your ass and you're really trying to get ahead, and then you see someone who is, So I think that was a huge attraction, and I don't know how long timeline-wise. I would assume it wasn't very long, but picture this. This little girl who grew up in that scenario I just described, took her 2 children, sold her house, sold her car, packed up all of her belongings, got on a plane, and flew to Grand Forks, North Dakota. Yeah. 2 kids. Imagine getting on a plane with a 2 and a 4-year-old. I guess by then we were probably like 3 and 5. Getting on a plane, and she's young, because she was 18 when I was born.
Yeah.
20. I mean, she's early 20. She's way younger than you even. Mm-hmm. And she's embarking on the world with this man. And thank God it worked out.
Yeah. I was like,
because that was a huge leap of faith.
Yeah, I was about to say a leap of faith for sure.
It was a leap of faith. And I don't know what he said to her to get her to do it, because obviously she wasn't real stupid, because
No,
she had some
good,
shit going
she
on.
had a good head on her shoulders.
She did. And so hence started her whole new life. And I think it was the smartest thing she ever did. I really do. And not to say that life wasn't rocky and they didn't have, their share of things here and there, but lots of moving.
Yeah.
We moved around a ton. My dad was a government contractor. He worked for GTE Sylvania, and it was a company that worked through contracts through government entities. So we always had to go around to different bases or near military installations. And he would have to do, it was usually like a 1 year, maybe 2 year contract where whatever he was doing, he was an engineer. And then it would be on to the next contract. And I guess that was all well and good when he didn't have any kids. But once kids came into it and we got older, I guess that became not real
conducive.
Yeah, it became not real conducive. So we wound up kind of settling down and staying in Arizona and Yuma for a good length of time. And I mean, she was like, I don't know, she was just kind of the person that kept everything together and took care of all of us, took really good care of us, and took really good care of my dad. And really that was her career. Even though she had a couple things she dabbled in. She got a real estate license, and she was smart. She probably could have done just about anything she wanted to. And later in years, she started her own business, and she could have done anything she wanted, but she loved my dad, and he kind of had this career already, and it didn't really require her to work. And so she was lucky that she was able to raise her kids. And it was lucky for me because I had a mom that was present, and, we had a really good life. We traveled a lot, and we were able to see a lot of different things. And my mom, I'm sure it was really hard for her. I mean, imagine every year or two uprooting 2 children, restarting them in new schools, new pediatricians, new doctors, it's hard. It's hard to reestablish your life every few years.
Yeah.
But I guess the payoff was, it worked for her. But so that's kind of the nuts and bolts of,
the early years.
Yeah, kind of how we got to where we were. But I think my relationship with her really started when I became an adult. I mean, obviously we were tight before then. I mean, we did all kinds of fun things together, just like you and I did. I mean, I was shopping. Everything was, a laughing mess, and, she was super fun. And, she always made anything fun, even like cleaning the house. She would make it into some kind of a game. Like when she'd try to get us to do it, it wasn't like, go clean the kitchen. It would be like, we're going to draw numbers, and the one that draws this has to do this, and the one that draws this has to do this. And then, but there would always be a reward at the end, and then we're going to go to the movies, and so that's the way she got us to learn to do chores. And it was never punitive. I don't really remember being overly punished as a child. But I know that my mom did have a real difficult time with my brother. My brother I think he was damaged when so we laughed later in years and said we think that she dropped him on his head as a baby, but I don't know really what happened to him. I don't. Maybe nothing happened to him. Maybe that's just who he was. But I know that he caused my mom a lot of tears, my parents a lot of strife in their marriage, me a lot of feelings of resentment of having this brother that was constantly trying to cause trouble. And this was more in teen years.
Right.
Younger years weren't so bad. But I guess as my brother got older, he really, he rebelled quite a bit. And I guess if you asked him what his experience, and if you asked him what his experience growing up and my experience growing up, it would be two completely different stories. He viewed things completely different than I did with regard to our parents. I think a lot of it had to do with he had a relationship with his father more than I did. And I think that I don't know, he had resentments from that, or I'm not really sure what his problem was, but I learned early on that he and I were very different, and I would just sort of live my life my way, and then kind of like, you do you, buddy, kind of thing. But I know that my mom shed a lot of tears over him. There were a lot of, luckily he stayed out of any real trouble. He didn't wind up going to jail.
Right.
Luckily my mom didn't have to see her son die or anything crazy like that. But I mean, for a lot of years, she had a lot of sleepless nights worrying about him. And I don't think he really appreciated how much she really loved him and really wanted to help him, but there was no helping him. And it was a real tough situation, but like everything, life goes on. But I think the thing that maybe it made her and I closer, I don't know, but we bonded a lot over, Jeff and her dealing with them, and me as I got older trying to sort of help her deal with them, of course, because her problem then became sort of my problem a little bit. But I think there came a point where she really realized that this is all I can do, and he's an adult now, and he did meet Barbara and was able to sort of settle into some kind of life where it wasn't constantly on her shoulders to have to, pull him out of a mess. So I think that helped a lot, and she was able to have a good have a good empty nest life. And I love my mom's vivacious personality and just her love of life, and how she just was so funny, so hilarious, and wasn't even trying to be funny.
That's what made it even more funny.
Yeah. I think that she was kind of a cynical.
Oh,
she had sort of a cynical personality, but she would say some funny stuff.
Yes, her little sayings. It was either like, she had like her little quotes.
Yeah.
And like they're like half Gandhi, half Southern,
half Paula Deen.
Gandhi meets Paula Deen. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Like, like butter my butt and call me a biscuit.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She was such a realist too. And she had a really good insight into life. She was never jealous. She wasn't the kind of person that had envy of people, like, oh, well, so-and-so has something and I don't have it or whatever. She was always a, Kimmy, all that glitters is not gold.
Again with the sayings. That reminds me of, she would call and leave a voicemail and say, Kimmy, this is Mother. I can't even do her like deep rasp. Her deep raspy. Gimme, this is Mother.
No, she had a really deep voice anyway, but then she was also a smoker. So that also made it even more, a little bit more raspy. Yes. But she did have a deep voice anyway. She was always would laugh because she'd say, people would call and say, excuse
Sir.
me, is the lady of the house home? I'm like, this is the lady of the house.
This is she.
Yeah, she was pretty hilarious. I love her relationship with you. I mean, that was something that was, especially when we were able to get the three of us together, that was absolutely some of the best times ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, she loved you like nobody's business. She thought you were the smartest and the most talented, and which,
Well, I am, but I'm just kidding. She's not wrong.
remember that time you won that Miss, what was it, Miss Teen of Dance or something?
Junior Miss Dance of Texas.
I know, and it was like a big to do, and they had like a cape and a crown and a giant trophy that was bigger than you were.
Yep.
And
I have a picture. We'll post it.
She came to the ceremony and everything, and I mean, she was just so proud of you, and she was like, "My Cassidy." Everything was my Cassidy, and she
Except remember, she wanted me to be named Sarah.
Oh, that's right.
She was like, and I'm insisting you name her Sarah, and even if you don't, I'm still gonna call her Sarah.
I know. She did. When we were thinking of names, she was like, "I like Sarah," and I was like, I like it, okay, but I'm not sure. I don't know. And then she's like, "Well, I'm calling her Sarah anyway." I'm like, "You are not calling her Sarah." I am calling her Sarah.
Funny.
But I want to just kind of delve just 1 second without getting too gooey, because I was even just thinking about what I was going to talk about. I was getting myself all worked up over it and all emotional about it. So bear with me for a minute. But she was just kind of the person to me that no matter what I did, she never looked at me differently. She never treated me differently. It was always love. It was always met with love. And I'm going to get real personal. And I became pregnant one time when it was not something that I wanted at the time, was not expecting at the time. And I called her and never ever, no, oh my God, no, oh, are you crazy? No,
what did you do?
Never any judgment, never any. And she was always there, no questions asked. And my dad the same way, but my mom really more so, in the sense that I was closer to her and I was comfortable with her. And, you know, anytime I was having a feeling, an emotion, I could call her and I could just talk it out with her.
Yeah.
And, or even she'd just say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Why are you doing that?"
Yeah.
And that would be enough.
Yeah.
That would be all I would need to hear. And times through my life where I did something stupid, or maybe I didn't do something stupid. Maybe just life hit me and I needed to run home for something.
Yeah.
And she was always there.
Or you felt like you were doing something stupid and she was there to be like, "Don't be silly."
Yes.
You know, like,
yes.
She was always very much like, I say a glass half full person, but that's kind of a basic description, but would like take any situation, whether it's hard or difficult, and just be like, "Okay, this is what's happening and here's what we're going to do."
Right.
And we're going to have a smile on our face about it.
Right. Right. And it brought comfort to you, because you knew that, you know, she was going to take care of it and she was going to be there.
She'll know what to do. Yeah.
And she was going to love you no matter what it was.
Yeah.
And that's precious.
Ultimate mother.
Yeah. I mean, when the word mother
Yeah.
was put in the dictionary,
Yeah.
I think there was a picture of Sharon
Yes.
there, because I think she really was.
Yeah.
And not to say that, you know, God, she made a lot of mistakes too. But she knew it, and she
Owned up to it.
She owned up to
Yeah.
it. And she thought, you know, if I had done this differently, and she was a human being, and she just did the best she could. And given the backstory of her life,
Yeah.
I think she did pretty well.
I agree.
Pretty proud of her.
I agree.
I'm pretty proud of her.
I
But
agree.
some of the things that we really loved about her was, besides being just like hilarious and just fun to be around, and she always loved to play a game. I mean, Yahtzee.
Yep.
God, we played Yahtzee
Texas
for hours.
Hold'em.
And then, I mean, it got competitive, because all of us are very competitive.
Yeah.
But she loved Vegas.
Yeah, she was a gambler, and I blame her for our love of all things Vegas gambling.
I know.
Even like bingo, scratch offs.
I know.
I mean, she taught me how to play Texas Hold'em when I was like 8 years old.
I know. Let me tell that story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and there's a story.
I'm like, okay, so mom, as sweet as she was, came. You had, I think, chicken pox.
Yeah,
you had chicken pox. And this is the old day, people. Let me explain how this used to work. In the old days, they got a disease called chicken pox.
There was
before you had a shot.
There was no shots.
And all it was, I'm just here to tell you, all it was you got a couple of little bumps on you. They look like mosquito bites. They're itchy. And you get to stay home for a week and eat ice cream. And in our case, you get to learn how to gamble.
Yeah.
So I go to work and I leave my mom with Cassidy, and I'm like, yeah. I come home. It's like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and there they sit at the kitchen table in their pajamas, eating Halloween candy. I'm like, where'd you find
like
Halloween candy? Up in the cabinet, hidden from 9.5 months ago, and they're eating Halloween candy, playing poker. She's trying to teach my 6-year-old how to play poker. So, I mean, I'm like, okay, Mom. She was a little unconventional, and now you know where I get it.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I'm very unconventional.
I love it.
But in that time, there was one time where you were little. You were like, I don't know, maybe 3. And I left you over there with her. And I mean, she didn't keep you a whole lot because we didn't live in I lived in San Antonio and she lived in Temple. But if I'd be up there and I'd say, go do something, I'd leave you there. And then, so I came back one time and you were literally freaking bouncing off the walls. And I was like, what on earth? Did you give her sugar? And she's like, no. All she had was 3 Diet Cokes. I was like, oh my God, Mom.
3
Diet Cokes. What the hell?
There's no sugar. It's the caffeine.
So
that is so funny.
Yeah, she was pretty.
I love it.
Of course, she would have given you anything. She'd have given you 4 if you'd asked for it.
Yeah.
You know, she just would have. She'd have given you anything.
I have like just some of the best memories of like the times when I would spend like a weekend up with her, like just her and me. And even when you were there with us too. And like, it was just like the little things that we always did. Like we always watched Gypsy, and I also blame her for my love of like musicals.
Oh yeah.
Gypsy. And that's still one of like my favorite movies and musicals. And
Hello, Dolly.
Hello, Dolly. And I also blame her for my love of like horror and scary movies. And so we would always watch scary movies and eat TCBY, and she would always get sticky walnuts. the same thing every time. Yes. So and like things now.
Oh, wait a minute. But when you would sleep, she'd always sleep with her.
Oh yes, I have that on my list too. Yeah, I'd always sleep in bed with her, and she snored, and I would have a hard time falling asleep if she was snoring and asleep. So I'd say, okay, when you're feeling sleepy, tell me so I can hurry up and go to sleep. And then a little time would pass and you could go, Cassidy, I'm getting sleepy.
Because she was pretending so that you'd hurry up and go to sleep so she could have a party in the bed. She'd say, I'm in here, Cassidy's asleep next to me, but she sleeps so deep that I could just sit here and have a party next to her and she'd never wake up. It was true.
That's so funny. I know. And still things like that I see and hear now, like immediately think of Nanny. Like always, I love Lucy.
Oh, yeah.
Like she is Lucy.
She is.
Red hair and everything. And just like the hilarity of it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, she loved that too. She loved I Love Lucy.
She did.
And she also loved Golden Girls. And that's where you kind of got that from too. Because you love you some Golden Girls. But yeah, she loved that. And then we'd go to bingo.
Yep.
And we'd always just make like a whole night of it. It was so much fun. And we'd just laugh. And I'm telling you, we were lucky. We would win all the time. One time we won bingo twice, her and I. Like I won once and she won once. And we wound up leaving with like $1,500.
Yeah.
And
one time they won the same bingo and both called bingo. And then my mom said, I can yell my own bingo. And Nanny's like, no, I got one too.
Yeah, he did. Like, don't yell bingo for me. And just like, well, I got my own bingo over here.
Speaking of bingo,
we had to split the pot between us. We
remember
both had
that one
bingo.
time at bingo when that lady's dauber broke? And it was like getting everywhere, but she was still frantically trying to dab her card. And you were just like,
I'm still
dying.
I could still laugh for 20 minutes over that.
I know.
Because I can still picture that lady, her whole ink dauber spilled out over all of her paper cards, and they were all like saturated with this like red ink. And so she was still trying to play with like a blue marker. I'm like, is she for real? Is she really doing this? And I was trying to, and she was right next to us. So I didn't want her to see that I was totally laughing at her. And so I was like, I'm so sorry. That's awful. That's terrible.
I'm crying for you. Oh my God.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
so
that's
funny.
terrible.
I know. And every time we're at bingo and like, cause you know, it's mostly a bunch of old people and someone would like have a coughing fit. I was always like, oh, someone's dying over there. Oh, Delilah's joining the party. Hi, Dee.
Yes. Crazy.
yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, bingo. Oh my gosh. That was like, and we talk about bingo because we went all the
Yep.
time. Sometimes we'd do a whole weekend of bingo.
Yeah.
Remember, we'd go like Friday
Regular-
night,
yeah.
Saturday
Late
night,
night bingo.
Sunday,
Midnight bingo. Yeah. like
midnight
late-
bingo. Oh my God. Remember speed bingo?
Yeah. I
Betty
do.
Boop bingo.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was anything where you could make money off of it. And we used to laugh because it's like, my mom, Nanny, would bet on 2 cockroaches crawling across the floor. That's what she's just like. She was a gambler.
She
that
was a
little gal
gambling
was.
girl. She was.
She was. But I remember how she learned. I remember how she learned her love of Vegas. They went to Vegas with friends way early in their marriage, and I can remember this man that was friends with my dad, and he got real. They were all good friends, but I think he got kind of a liking to my mom. And so he was trying to teach her how to play. He was teaching her the odds. He was teaching her about blackjack. He was teaching her how to do it and how to win. And so what he started doing was he was fronting her. He would give her money, and then if she won, then they would split the profits at
Yeah.
the end. He would give her back. And so I think she really got a, for some reason during that period of time, she really got a bug for it.
Yeah.
That's what
she was
lit
just
it.
like a lucky person.
She was.
She was Lady Luck.
She was
literally.
Lady Luck. She was. And I think it has to do with, I'm sorry, she was just a really good person.
Yeah.
And when you're a really good person like that, good things happen
deserve
for
some
you.
luck.
You do deserve
Totally.
luck. You totally deserve it.
And she would like go, okay, so like y'all would go to like Shreveport a lot. And she would like always get her nails done and to get like little dollar sign charm.
I know.
It's like a whole
Yeah.
whole thing. Little dollar sign charm nails, green for money, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. She really loved it. Well, look at us now. We go on trips and we get wigs and costumes. And I mean, little green nails is no big deal.
Yeah.
for
I know.
us now,
That's a
but-
drop in the bucket.
Yeah,
Yes.
she did. She really she loved it so much, and luckily, because she married my dad, and she was able to have that life. I think if she had stayed in Temple and continued on her trajectory, maybe. I mean, who knows? Nobody knows what your life would have been a different way, but I think it went the way that she wanted. But I will tell you, later in life, she did, get a little feeling of loneliness, I think, in her marriage, and they divorced. Ken and my mom, Sharon, they divorced for a few years. She went out and got an apartment and got a boyfriend and started a business, and she was just fine. The one that wasn't fine was my dad, and he pretty much turned into Howard Hughes. I mean, he just fell apart. And this I want to tell you this because this is important. This shows a testament to the person that she was. She went back to him. She went back to him before he got sick. It wasn't that she went back to him because he got sick, because he did not get diagnosed with cancer until after that. But she went back to him because she loved him.
Yeah.
She was not in love with him, I don't think. And he...
But she loved him and saw he was struggling.
Yes.
Probably, and wanted to...
She just tried to go and have a life that she wanted to create some happiness for herself. Just for her, not family happiness, but just for her.
Right.
And he just fell apart, and it broke her. She couldn't stand it. And so she moved back home.
Yep.
And they wound up getting back together. And, you know, he passed away a few years later, but she took care of him through his death and everything. And I mean, that's just the kind of person she was.
Of course.
In their relationship, this is kind of the sum of it. And I think Leticia Marquez, who was here last week,
episode, yeah.
I think she really hit the nail on the head. And she said something that really struck home with me. And I think it's important to know that my dad, Ken, he adored her. And she admired him. She admired
and
him.
respected him.
She admired him so much. And he would have done anything, and would and did anything in the world. He was in Mensa. He was an enormously smart man. Mensa is like this society of very intelligent people. And it's something like geniuses. You have to like a genius IQ to be a part of it. And,
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely adored her. And he evidently could handle her too. So I love that so much.
Yeah, I agree.
I love that. When Letty said that,
I know.
oh my gosh, I was like,
You even
wow.
said that sounds familiar.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
That's nice. But so what else can we talk about?
I have some things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they might be kind of random, but it's okay. So first of all, Nanny had a great rack.
Oh, Nanny did have it.
Didn't she? And she was not shy about showing them.
She did have a great rack, and it was all on natural.
Yeah, and she told me the secret was never go without a bra.
It's true.
Yeah.
She told me that too, and she told me even to bed.
Yeah.
Which I unfortunately didn't really listen to much because it's
yeah,
so
I mean,
hard
I
to
hate a
sleep in a bra. But she did say that.
I know. She did.
I love it.
She had a great rack. And
Remember how she used to walk around sometimes and she'd go, "Not bad tits for 50."
Yeah.
Or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever age she was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like she ever walked around naked. She didn't. But
No,
if
but
she
just
happened
like
to be changing,
Yeah, she
you
wasn't.
know?
She wouldn't like hide to change. But yeah, and she always wore velour track suits.
She did.
little velour jumpsuits.
She was ahead of her time.
That was
They're
like
back
her going
in.
out outfit.
I know.
Yeah.
Little kids.
Yes, and like we said, she was a hairstylist, and she had red hair, but she had to dye it. And one time she dyed her hair pink, and she did leave it like that for a little bit. It was a look.
She did. That's what I love too. She didn't care. She
Yeah.
didn't really care what anybody thought
she
about
just
her.
took anything and be like, well, we're gonna make this
a thing.
an on purpose thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's how we got the term glue your hair, because she would dye her hair and y'all would dye your hair. And I was little and I'd say, putting glue in your hair. And so then now, henceforth, it was forevermore, I got to glue my hair.
Right. Yeah. I'd call her and I'd be, "What are you doing?" She'd be done. "I'm gluing my hair."
Yeah.
And we knew she's coloring her hair. Yeah.
And one time she put those little tiny perm rods in my hair. And I slept with them. That was so funny. And she also, we kind of mentioned this before, but she was like a lover of all things beauty products and beauty. And one thing that like I always think of is she would sit there and do her makeup. She had like a little vanity with like a mirror in the drawer, and all her makeup is in there, and I would just watch her. And one time she would put on this lipstick, and I said, "Oh, I really like that color lipstick." And she said, "It's pussy pink." And that's just the kind of lady she was.
She was not scared to say pussy.
Oh, no.
She was not.
No.
And she didn't have a trashy mouth.
No, and she would just like without missing a beat, you know.
She would just say it.
She would.
You know?
That's what it was. That's why it was so funny. Oh my gosh, pussy pink. I know.
I need to take a break for a minute. Funny. Oh my gosh.
And then she she got older. I always laughed because I said she was tremble. She was trembly, like her little. She probably had that thing I have, like that
little trembly
that
disease.
little general tremor, but her little lips would be trembling. We'd be like at bingo, and she'd get a burger, and she would like go to bite it, and like in slow mo.
And we would be sitting there laughing.
We would laugh
quietly.
at her. She would
She didn't know we were laughing
have
at her.
her mouth open, trying to take a bite, and her little lips were just quivering. And we're just laughing. She's like, "What? Trembly lips,
Little trembly lips." I know it.
I love it.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Let's see what else. Her favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving. And she was a great cook. I mean, still to this day, it's like,
The recipes are living on through me, but my worry is they're dying with me.
I know. Let's do this year. Thanksgiving. I'm gonna like record.
I was gonna say you need to videotape my Thanksgiving because I'm feeling like that. I don't know how many more I have in me. I may have to pass the torch. I may have to pass the turkey leg to you.
Pass the wishbone to you. And she had like her little signature dishes that we always like loved, like chicken and dumplings and navy bean soup, rhubarb pie. Well, I mean, I didn't like rhubarb pie, but y'all did. And she would like make it and be eating it and be like, "This is the worst rhubarb pie I've ever made," but then just eat the whole thing.
Yeah. This is the worst I've ever eaten.
This is the worst.
Just eat it.
This is the worst one I've ever made.
Yeah.
Eat it all.
Yeah. So what else? Well, she loved. Remember when you got her that cat?
Yeah, I was about to bring up the cat.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So she wanted a cat. And so,
well, she really didn't want a cat. We were talking her into it. We
were like, "You need a cat."
She kind of did.
Yeah, and we were like, that as
and we really wanted her to. So we were trying to talk her into it. We were making her want a cat.
And so then it was Mother's Day, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna get her a kitten for Mother's Day." So I went, got a kitten. Well, then, long story short, she was like, "Well, I don't want a kitten. I want an adult cat." And then I ended up keeping the kitten, and she's still alive. She's like 19 years old. she's still kicking. But she ended up going to like the animal shelter.
Mm-hmm. We went to Mama Dog Lane. That was the name of it. Mama Dog Lane and Temple, and we were looking at the cats.
Yeah, and wasn't there one named Caution? No, that wasn't the name, but
there was. It had Caution on the
cage.
And then
y'all called it Caution.
I know, because I'm telling you, I don't know if you've ever seen some of those cats at the some of them are mean as mean, and they were like. And so anyway, there was one, I said, I don't think this one would be a good fit. Anyway, she found her a little cat named Annie.
Yeah, and this cat was her. In cat form.
It really was. She changed the name.
She changed it to Sadie Bell.
But that cat really did. And it really did. Yeah, I think she loved it. I mean,
I think
became really good company for her.
Yeah, so they were like two peas in a pod. They would literally sit in bed and eat ice cream.
Together.
Bluebell, Sadie Bell. Like one bite for you, one bite for me. Her and a cat.
Oh my god!
Yes,
yeah. And then after she passed, I took Sadie and I kept her for a few years, and then she passed away. And I'm telling you, when she passed away, I felt like I was losing my mom all over again. It's like, what the hell? But that was really cute.
It was very cute, so cute. What else? Delilah is panting.
So one thing that that Nanny dealt with, it, because I deal with, is anxiety. We come from a long line of anxietal women, unfortunately. She dealt a lot with it, but she lived with it. It did not take over her life. She didn't let it. But I can remember years where there were times where she would say to me, well, I can't really go to the grocery store right now, like a period of time, like over a couple of weeks. And I'm like, what does she mean she can't go? I didn't understand it at all. I wish I had understood it, but I didn't. And, there were times where she literally would have to just run into the Utotem and get a loaf of bread and a milk or whatever, because she just couldn't do it. She had so much anxiety. And luckily, those times were not common, but I can remember like periods where she was going through it. And she didn't talk to me a lot about it because she didn't want to put that on me. She didn't want me to worry about her. And looking back, I see it now, what she was going through. But she learned ways to make kind of anxiety sort of part of her life. It's just like this. I know this is what I'm capable of doing. I know this helps me be calm and in a good place. And she kind of created her life around it.
Yeah.
And that's actually kind of what I'd have to do too. So I can really relate to it. And I am so happy that you, knock on wood so far, don't have to deal with all that. I'm glad that you don't really know what that feels like. I didn't back then, but I do now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, but they came from a long line of, Valium takers. I mean, Nanny called herself, I'm a user, not an abuser. And when I say user, she did not do any illicit drugs. She never did. I mean, remember that one time she said, I tried Coke one time, but the bubbles kept getting up my nose. So, I mean, she never did drugs or anything, but, and she really didn't drink because she was terrified that alcoholism was genetic, and her mother was a raging alcoholic. So she really, I mean, I'm not saying she wouldn't have a margarita on occasion, but never really saw her drink, much. But yeah, of course, they had old Dr. Weinblatt. So let me go back to Dr. Weinblatt real quick before
he was probably handing out all kinds of stuff.
He was the family doctor. And I don't want to say anything. Back then, things were way different.
Oh, totally.
And I don't, I'm not... He didn't do anything wrong. I don't want to even allude to that. But it was at a time where they gave women... Valiums.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
They were like, this is like the housewife medication.
Right. And they did it. And my mom's mom, Nola, obviously she's an alcoholic. Well, guess what? She was also a Valium taker. She was a pill taker. And in order to control her anxiety, she had to take this medication. Well, I think my mom managed her anxiety. She did take Valiums pretty much. Well, she took Valiums her whole life and all the way through. And every once in a while I took one when I needed it. She'd give it to me. If I'm like, oh my God, she'd give me one. But I mean, she never abused anything. She never took more than, you get 3 a day. She never took more than 3 a day.
Right.
And I say that because one of my cousins was hooked on Valium. And I want to tell you, he was taking something like 85 Valiums in one
I was going to
day.
say 60 something, 80.
I could not even imagine. I heard that and I was like, whoa. So she was someone who lived 20, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. No, not 70 years. She didn't live that long. But all of her probably adult life, she took Valium. But she took it just...
As prescribed.
It wasn't one of those, I need more, I need more, I need more,
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
more. I'm still anxious, I need more. It
Yeah.
was all, but it always seemed to keep her where she needed to be. But Dr. Weinblatt,
Yes.
old Dr. Weinblatt, because Dr. Weinblatt also had a son who also became Nanny's doctor, was actually her doctor later in years, because obviously old Dr. Jack Weinblatt got really old and he passed away. But earlier, he actually had an affair.
The old one?
The old,
Old
Dr.
Dr.
Weinblatt
Weinblatt?
had an affair with Nanny's sister,
Oh,
Joanne.
dum.
I know. They did. They had an affair. And not only they had an affair, I'm pretty sure they had an ongoing love affair for many, many, many years. I think they loved each other very much.
Oh my.
I do.
That's some
That's
some soap
he was
opera
married.
business.
He was married and she was married.
Yep.
And neither one of them wanted to. I don't know any details about anything, but I do know that they did have an affair. And I do know that it spanned for a number of years over time. And so they had ends with medications.
Yeah,
And so they never had to, if they needed anything, they didn't have to go get vetted, or even up until late in life, until he finally, he passed many years late in life, he passed away. But, and of course, then when younger Dr. Weinblatt came around, then they put stops to all that stuff. You could not do that anymore.
Yeah.
There's safety things in place where you can't just be writing willy-nilly prescriptions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they kind of cracked down after a little bit because, places were handing them out like Starbursts.
I know. But she was a smoker. She was a smoker.
That was her vice.
That was her vice. And you want to know something too? She never, ever, ever tried to quit. She never said, I want to quit. She said to me, I need to quit. She never said I wanted to quit because she never wanted to quit smoking. And she knew, she would say to me from time to time, these are going to kill me. And she would be holding a cigarette in her hand. And, probably from the time I was a kid, because I had two smoking parents, in my mind, I already had them buried. I already had visions of seeing both of my parents in a hospital bed and me living through their death. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be that person, but I just was. And I just knew that they were going to die from it. And they both did. They both died from smoking.
Yeah. Well, and it's sad because when they were young, smoking was advertised as like
safe,
good for you, safe. That's it makes you fancy or whatever.
Yeah. Or these are fine.
Yeah.
These are fine for you. And they're not. They weren't. And when she first got sick, I kind of, she kind of started losing her voice. And in the beginning, I tried not to panic too much. Like, this could be just about anything. You could just be, allergies, whatever.
Yeah.
But as it kind of went on, and I think she kind of knew, she knew her body. That's one thing about her. She's very in tune to herself.
Yeah.
So she knew probably way before she even, because I'm sure, I know when I drink soda, I know it has negative effects on my body. So she knew that too. And, but I can remember the day that she had gone in to get like an MRI or something. And I went down to stay with her. And I didn't go to the MRI with her, but I went to her when she was going to go get the results. And we were in the car. And she just took my hand and she said, this isn't going to be good. And I said, I know. And I just told her, I'm okay. Whatever it is, I'm here and we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And she did a round of chemo. I think just for me, I think she, I wanted her to fight, but I think she had kind of already given up. She kind of knew that her days were probably limited with smoking all her life and, anyway. So, she did the one round and she's like, I don't want to do that. And I don't even think she had really horribly bad side effects. I just think she knew the outcome was going to be the same. And literally, I think she died 2 months later. She lived about once she got diagnosed, I think she only lived about 3 months total.
Yeah.
It was already advanced.
Yeah.
I think she knew before then, but yeah. And from that point, when I'm in a crisis, Cass, something switches off in me and I become all about business. And I turned into this turn off emotions completely. And I started spending like every weekend. I would go every weekend up there. We'd go to bingo. We just did life as normal. We lived life as normal. We weren't going for treatments. She wasn't terribly sick. So we were still able to, do a lot of stuff, which was wonderful. And, once it got to be to the point where, I had Jake was kind of young still. So I couldn't, let's see, what is he, about 10? And she died in 2010 and he was 10. So, but one thing I have to, Egon was just a champ because he just really said, and we have a busy practice and we've got a kid with autism. So it's not like we didn't have a lot going on ourselves, but he's like,
he said, just go.
Do it. You spend every minute with your mom. You do what needs to be done. You take care of her. And I did. And once it got to be about, I don't know, she got kind of bed bound and I knew she didn't have a whole lot of time left, but we had hospice. She made me promise, I don't want to go to a hospital. I don't want to, I don't want to die in a hospital. I don't want to go to a hospital. And I said, you are not going to a hospital over my dead body.
Yeah.
Because that's the person I was for her. Whatever you want, that's what we're going to do. If you want to get on a plane and go to fucking Hawaii right now, that's what we're going to do. And so we stayed at home and we'd do what we did when you were little, lay in bed and eat TCBY and watch, Golden Girls.
Yeah.
And, it was lovely because, knowing that you only have a certain amount of time makes you more in tune and, you say the things that you feel, and I think that gave us that time to and it didn't seem like it was a real sad time. Maybe I was just pretending like, oh, it's, it's all good.
Yeah.
But my mom was
you were
Christian.
Just coping.
Yeah. And she was a Christian lady. So she believed in God and believed in, afterlife and everything. So, and I don't think she was really afraid of dying, which gave me comfort.
She had some peace.
Yeah. She was at peace. She was really at peace. And, there was a certain amount of peace that I got out of being able to kind of share her final time with her.
Yeah.
Having a moment.
You're allowed.
Having a moment.
No. It's okay.
I don't know why.
It's okay.
Anyway, so yeah, that was just rough.
Yeah.
It was bittersweet. Bittersweet because when someone's dying.
Yeah.
This sounds really gross, but you just kind of want to get it over with because
Sure. No, it makes sense.
In some ways they're suffering.
Yeah.
She was not suffering. She was not suffering. Sorry, I'm getting all emotional here. I'm going to try to take a moment here to chill. She definitely was not suffering because I just would not let that happen. I mean, anytime she made a sound, I was like fentanyl patch on her.
Just line them up.
But yeah, it was. And here, you want to hear something, Cass, is like, prepare yourself for stuff because I was not prepared enough. I'd never experienced losing anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost my dad, but I don't know. You just don't have the same feelings as you do for your mom. But no offense, dads. But, we had the same DNA,
Yeah. Well, and you're just so close. So.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that was it's part of life. It's part of something that eventually
It's the shitty part of life.
It's the shitty part, but it's something that we all, I don't care how old you are, well, I do, as an adult, you are going to
lose someone
and you're probably going to be a part of it. It's going to be someone close to you, someone that you're going to have to see suffer or hurt, and it is a hard thing to deal with. But it's you do get over it, and you do get past it. And I know I'm getting all emotional, I'm getting all breakdown right now. It's only because
We're talking about
we're talking about it, and it, like, for a moment it kind of takes me back to that moment.
Yeah. But yeah, as time passes, you know,
definitely.
it doesn't ever get easier, but it gets easier to like live your life outside of that.
For sure. I mean, I think the first like, I don't know, year or two or whatever, it's like really kind of, I'm just speaking from me. I was really like angry.
Yeah.
Because it was like she was too young. She was too vibrant.
Yeah.
You know, like, and also being really, 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 really selfish. Like, I need her here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And she passed like 5 months before my wedding. And so that was hard that we didn't get to have her there. But before I came to record this, I told Dave that, you know, we're going to record the Nanny Sharon episode. And he said, she would be really proud of y'all. I was like, I know.
Okay. I'm gonna call
I'm not a
Ripley.
crier.
I'm calling Ripley. Give me my phone.
No.
Yes.
I was dust in my eyes.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now.
See?
I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now. Cassidy
See, it happens.
is crying.
I got you over here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But to see Cassidy cry, that's a phenomenon in itself. But yeah, she would be so proud. I mean, she loved us so much. We didn't even have to do much to make her proud. But she would be very proud, and she would be proud of Jake and Cannon and Shep, and she never got a chance to meet her great grandsons, but I feel like she's here, Cass. She's here. Too. She's with us. She's one of my spirit guides. We talk about spirit guides with Nicole, the psychic lady, and I 100% believe that Sharon is my spirit guide, and she's watching out, and she's talking to me, and she's guiding me, and she's laughing at me, and all of the things.
Yeah. I think so too. And every time like we go to Vegas, I have her ring and I wear it, and I'm like, yeah, like that's when I'm like, I'm lucky because I have the Nanny ring on. You know?
I know. That's why I wanted to give you all of Nanny's jewelry. She didn't have a whole lot, but she had several diamond rings, and I wanted to give them to you because I wanted you to always have them, and you know, remember her, and you know, just so that she could be a kind of a part of you.
Yeah. She is.
I love that.
She always
so much. Well, we miss you, Nanny, Mom, Mother. I called her Mother. Mother, what are you doing? Talk to her every day. And when you go to talk, you know, you're talking to somebody every day, or sometimes more than once a day, and just telling them everything about every stupid thing. So I said that to Liz the other day. I go, I talk to my mom every day when she was 11. She goes, every day? Whoa, really? I'm like, yeah,
you call and be like, you're never going to believe.
What do you even talk about every day?
Nothing.
Go, every single thing. We might even be talking about episodes of Golden Girls, or we might be talking about something on sale at HEB, or we might be talking about just who knows, God knows what.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just...
every day.
She was just shocked. That was like, wow, you talk to your mom every day?
No, some people don't want to talk to their mom.
I mean, I would share all of the good things. Anything good that would happen. She'd be the first person I'd call.
Yep.
And unfortunately for her, all of the bad things, she'd be the first person I called. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And I've apologized to her over the years for the phone calls and the tears and the what I put her through, but she forgave me.
Yeah,
she did. So,
well, you know, we talked about how she was as a person, like with Ken, and you know, I think she really took joy in just like being the rock for people.
Yeah.
So
reminds me of somebody.
Okay, people. Well, thank you for joining in on our tribute to the one and only Nanny Sharon.
Though she is not physically here with us anymore, we know her legacy will continue to live on for generations to come.
And her nannyisms continue to live rent-free in our heads forever. And now, hopefully yours too.
Be a peach and share this episode and show us some love on socials.
Okay, Mom, let's blow this popsicle stand. We'll see y'all next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.